Uh, Hello guys. Hi. Welcome to stream. അയ്യോ എനിവേസ് ഞാൻ പെട്ടെന്ന് ഇത് കളിച്ചിട്ട് എൻ്റെ സൈബർ പങ്ക് സ്ട്രീമിലേക്ക് പോകാനാണ് ഇന്നത്തെ പ്ലാൻ. സോ ഹോപ്പ്ഫുള്ളി പെട്ടെന്നെത്തി. An error occurred while running Unity content on this page. See the fuck? എൻ്റെ ഗെയിം ക്രാഷ് ആയോ? What? നടന്നേ വാൾപേപ്പർ ആണോ? ഓക്കെ, കാപ്പിത്താവ് ഡോക്ക് റുക്ക് ഗാഡ്ജറ്റ്. ഓക്കെ, നിന്റെ ഇന്നലെ പിന്നെ കളിച്ചോ ഫാൻറ്റ ലിബർട്ടി?
ഇന്നലെ കളിച്ചില്ല.
ഓക്കെ, അല്ല കാരണം 7 മണി വരെ
കളിക്കുന്നു. ഞാൻ കളിക്കണമെന്ന് വിചാരിച്ചു. എനിക്ക് വിശന്ന് ഞാനാണെങ്കിൽ പോയി പയറ് കഞ്ഞി ഉണ്ടാക്കി. ഓവർ കുക്ക്ഡ് കഞ്ഞിയും ചോറും ഒട്ടും ഇതാവാത്ത പയറും താങ്ക്സ് കഴിച്ചു. സാഡ്ലി
അതങ്ങനെയാണല്ലോ. ഞാൻ വരിച്ചു. അയ്യോ, മൊത്തം ഇങ്ങനെയാണല്ലോ. ഓക്കെ, എന്റെ മാപ്പ് ഒന്ന് ലോഡ് ആവുന്നില്ല.
ഞാൻ സൈബർ സൈക്കോയില് ഞാനാണെങ്കിൽ ഇന്റന്റഡ് ആണോ ഇത്? ഞാൻ സൈബർ സൈക്കോയില് ദൂരെ നിന്ന് ഹാക്ക് ചെയ്ത് 30% ആക്കി. എന്നിട്ട് ഞാൻ ക്ലോസ് കോമ്പാറ്റിന് പോയി. ക്ലോസ് കോമ്പാറ്റിന് പോയപ്പോഴത്തേക്കും സൈബർ സൈക്കോ ആണെങ്കിൽ അവിടെ നിന്ന് അങ്ങ് ഓടി തള്ളി. എന്നിട്ട് ഇപ്പം ഫുൾ 100% ഹെൽത്തായി.
അത് ഇടയ്ക്കിടയ്ക്ക് സംഭവിക്കും. ഇന്നലെ ഞാൻ കളിച്ചോണ്ടിരുന്നു. ഞാൻ ഒരു 70-60% വരെ എത്തിച്ചിട്ട് പെട്ടെന്ന് 100ലേക്ക് തിരിച്ചു ചാടി.
Activating drone.
Drone activated.
Let's move.
Where am I?
RET active. Sweeping perimeter.
എനിക്കാണോ നീ ഇതുള്ളത്?
Spotted a bomb.
to see. And standing up is like shouting to everyone where your Minecraft coordinates are.
Bomb detected.
15 seconds left. 10 seconds left. The diffuser has been secured.
Come on, Mark.
5
Anyway,
seconds. The diffuser is now secured. You have dropped the diffuser.
If they
Op
were,
4 eliminated all friendlies.
Friends, and they're currently residing with Dr. Owen. This is where the game cuts you loose. You can go to the doctor's house to progress the main plot, or you can fumble around and do any side content. I am going to talk a lot about the side content. When you get to the mansion, you're introduced to Dr. Earnhardt. You can tell he comes from a good place, but he's quite estranged. Not totally in sync with the rest of the world around him. He has a hard time maintaining eye contact and always seems to be half awake.
Dr. Earnhardt here, or in and out, as the case may be.
Yeah, Dennis said you'd be able to help, that you found one of my friends.
One of your friends? Huh. I am, distilling a batch later today.
What?
This is probably due to him tasting his own products. He's allowed to reside on the island as he provides the pirates with drugs. Daisy is the friend Dr. Earnhardt is taking care of, your now deceased brother's girlfriend. She's recently got...
Ready to engage Op 4.
This is apparently a real-life tree, so toxic it's described as 7 up, 8 down, and 9 dead. Meaning you can only take 7 uphill, 8 downhill, or 9 on level ground.
Enjoy the view.
Down to 10 seconds.
Mushrooms from that ago. Seems
5 seconds.
keen on Daisy's safety.
Sorry for the rush.
In the rotation reinforcing.
Changing mag!
Also, why do they put this stack of money on the table if you're never allowed in this room? You can only be in this room outside of a cutscene at the very end of the game. So why have a floating stack of cash in a cutscene? Anyways, you go into the cave and step on some mushrooms, releasing spores.
Cam in position. Enjoy the view.
This is where we get a look into Jason's side.
Reloading!
He's an incredibly conflicted person. He wants to save his friends, but he also sees the island as something that can help him develop into a stronger person. You can hear him turning his family down for important events. Clearly someone who can't commit. Then you hear this, and probably one of the most important ones. This is great. It actually explains how Jason can use weapons so easily in the game. I'm sure the statement is a bit hyperbolic. Being a great shot with weapons doesn't mean you'd know how to perfectly operate a grenade launcher. But it at least makes an attempt. There are so many games that feature people using firearms, like there's some kind of Agent 47, when clearly the when Jason mentions something similar. I also like the touch of the vegetation.
One friendly operator remaining.
Like he's slowly being civilization behind. Further proven by Dr.
Mission failed. All friendlies were eliminated.
After the trip ends, you find the mushrooms. But Jason, look out for the horde of low-quality PNG bats. It truly is like Skyrim with guns.
And the sky was full of what looked like huge bats, all swooping and screeching and diving around the car. And a voice was screaming, "Holy Jesus, what are these goddamn animals?"
What the dump? And what the fuck is that smell?
Jason takes a single mushroom. Don't ask me why I didn't take more. And returns to Daisy, who's now awake. This scene, by the way, is great. You barely ever leave the perspective of Jason's view, and you can really tell he's tearing up just by his voice.
Grant, need help. Daisy. I'm so sorry.
So that's it?
I'm sure Daisy would have cried actual tears, but Ubisoft spent the rest of the budget making Dr. Earnhardt's Mole 3D. And before Jason leaves, Daisy tells him one last thing.
Whoever did this, whoever killed Grant, deserves to die.
With no verbal resistance on Jason's end, I believe Daisy is, although unintentionally, feeding Jason's power fantasy to get revenge and justice for his brother Grant. Jason thanks the doctor for helping him and asks to let anyone else take refuge there. The doctor declines, saying it's too risky, but as soon as Daisy speaks, he instantly changes his mind.
Everyone
need to look for them here.
Please, doctor.
تصوير on. تصوير on. السلام عليكم شباب. السلام عليكم. أقول لك فاتح تصوير على كيفك. هدي لعبة تقوي كلش. يعني هدي.
Later on, you can find an entry on your tablet about Dr. Earnhardt. Apparently fleeing the UK and her 2-year-old daughter. Alec Earnhardt has come here to forget. And by doing business with the scum of the island, he can continue to live in his fever dream just for a little bit longer. Shortly afterwards, you get a call from Dennis. This is a pretty common thing in the game, getting a call from him after a mission. But if you pay attention to what Dennis is doing, he's feeding Jason's ego by telling him any progress he's made is solely by him and no one else.
I am on the video on the YouTube, okay? To survive my channel. What can I do?
Oh, subscribe to my channel. Oh, on it.
On YouTube, I have
Let's go.
1 million.
1 million. Oh, famous ആണെന്ന് തോന്നണയാ. Famous. 1 million.
10 hours to reach it because of all the side content.
I'm reloading.
Down to 5
Now,
seconds.
I will throw in a disclaimer. I didn't do myself. I chose to do every single side content before tackling the main story. Because Ubisoft side content, as mundane as it is, triggers something in my 8th brain to complete all of it. You've got radio towers, you know, we already covered that. Bang, bang, smashy, smashy. Wow, look at this map. Unlocking a certain amount of
എനിക്ക് ഞാൻ ക്ലെയിം ചെയ്ത സാധനം എനിക്ക് കിട്ടി.
To keep feeding your brain trace amounts of dopamine, as soon as you
എങ്ങനെ ഏത് അക്കൗണ്ടിൽ കിടന്നു?
ഗോഗിന് ഐ മീൻ ലൈക്ക് സീമിലോട്ട് വന്നു. സീമും ഗോഗും ഞാൻ കണക്ട് ചെയ്തിട്ടുണ്ട്.
PlayStation 2 racing game. You want me to collect dog tags and the reward is cash? How generous.
These islands used to be crawling with Japanese soldiers. You find a jet body?
Shout outs to that Ubisoft NPC voice compression
Fever
assistant.
activated.
ഓ, ഞാൻ ഇപ്പോഴും ഓർത്ത് മേടാ പറയാനുണ്ടായിരുന്നു.
Excuse me, sir. You want me to lost tablets? You people sure do lose a lot of things on this island. And again, the reward is cash. And you, sir, you'd like me to find some plants? Well, here you go.
What? I don't need plants for a stew. I need them for my milk.
Let me try again.
Why are you giving me the plants? I need them.
Okay, this is getting a bit tiresome now.
The ingredients.
I revive myself.
Thank you, my boy,
Cover me.
for helping an old man out. Please take a cup.
Ah, fuck.
It's a recipe to find more plants. Yeah, sure. Thank you.
ഓ, ഞാൻ ഷീൽഡ് കൊടുത്താൽ റിവൈവ് ഇട്ട് കൂട്ടും അല്ലേ?
Quests. But like a drug mule with the cartel on my back, I just couldn't stop doing other people's work. Unlike some other sandbox games, there's no
One friendly operator.
ഇതെറ്റി?
Fantastic.
and it makes the Rook Islands feel more like an extended holiday than a place you actually need to escape. The problem is, by giving
Top
Jason
4,
so
last
much
operator
from the
standing.
start, it creates a huge disconnect between gameplay and story.
ആരാ ബാക്കി?
You can do all the side
Captain
content before
Hibanim.
meeting Daisy, but then you create a Jason that seems totally apathetic to his friend's safety. He can seem super invested.
Mission critical, bomb diffuser activated.
The radio towers and doing odd jobs for the locals
Shut
in
up.
their time. We know this. I feel that they could have
All friendlies were eliminated. Mission failure.
raise money across the island to escape. It sounds stupid, but at least then you'd have a casual link between him doing side
Almost
stuff
definitely.
and caring about his friend's safety.
I just need time.
لو صارت خادمني وليد أحسن.
I need time. Just need.
خاد ابن السليل ها ها خاد ابن السليل كيوي.
A boat that can get everyone off the
بالضبط
island.
بدي
Why
IQ
not just have a side objective where Jason needs to raise money to fix the specific part?
background video
Hey Daisy,
mute ചെയ്തിട്ട്
my brother's
പറയണമെന്ന്
dead
കേൾക്കണം.
and you're slowly dying.
أعطيته هيدات؟
ഓ, വേറെ ആരാ സംസാരിച്ചു തുടങ്ങി?
أعطيته هيد هدية ما مات وش عمل كتبني وش كتب لي هلثة طايرة نصها باقي
അറബിയാണോ?
Be ready to engage
Oh.
Octo.
വീഡിയോ മ്യൂട്ട് ചെയ്തപ്പോൾ വേറെ ഏതോ ഭാഷ സംസാരിക്കാൻ തുടങ്ങി.
المشكلة من عنده اللي
ഞാൻ നിന്റെ സ്ക്രീനിൽ നോക്കട്ടെ.
اساس صعب ما بدك
انت اوكي؟
تأكد صورت بس صورت اللي صرت تسوي بصوت
അറബിയാണെന്ന് തോന്നുന്നു കേട്ടിട്ട്.
خلص
10 seconds remaining.
റഷ്യൻ തോന്നുന്നുണ്ട്.
ഇത് റഷ്യനോ?
5 seconds left.
راح تغش حق بصوت
Ambush set. Stay clear.
يواجه
Keep us successfully deployed. Keep us strike
ആ,
deployed barrier.
എനിക്കൊരു റഷ്യൻ വൈബ് അടിക്കുന്നുണ്ട്. പക്ഷെ എന്തായാലും 15 വയസ്സ് പോലും കാണൂല, 13 വയസ്സ് പോലും ആയിരിക്കും.
ഇതന്നെ 1 million
confirm
സബ്സ്ക്രൈബേഴ്സ്
ചെയ്യാം.
ഉണ്ട്. ഇത്
വാവ്.
ജയാൻ എന്റെ സെൻപായ്.
دوك
എന്നാ നീ 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 സ്ലവ് എല്ലാം പറ.
വേണ്ടാളെ.
هلا
ചുമ്മാ 1 million സബ്സ്ക്രൈബേഴ്സ് ഉള്ളതല്ലേ, ഞാൻ ക്യാൻസൽ ചെയ്യും.
ആ പ്രോസസ് ഞാൻ ക്യാൻസൽ ആണ്. അല്ലേ
كفو
Reload.
عالج نفسي ما يسافر
എവിടെന്നാ വെടി വന്നേ? Oh. Fuck it, I peek. Okay, come on. Wait, wait.
Just a little prick.
Target detected.
Noise പേടിച്ചിട്ട് വന്നു. തെർമൈറ്റ് റാമ പിന്നെ ആരാ? ഫക്ക് യു.
Op 4, last stop standing.
ഇവിടുത്തെ ആരാ? പുനെക്സ് റാം ഫസ്റ്റ് ഫ്ലോർ.
Down to 15 seconds. 10 seconds left. 5 seconds left. Op 4 eliminated. Mission successful.
മരണം.
تعود موت الزيك بيجري ثاني اروح الباسل
അസുരെന്തോ ഡോട്ട് കളിക്കുന്നു.
അറിയില്ല. ആണോ?
അവൻ തീർത്തോ ഫാൻഡലി ബാട്ടി?
ഇല്ല.
ഓ ഓക്കെ.
ഒരു സെക്കൻഡ്.
ഓക്കെ. Oh fuck.
Friendly drone deployed. Op 4 is reinforcing its location. Ten seconds to insertion. 5 seconds to insertion.
Motherfuckers. No, shit.
ടീമാണ് എന്നെ ഇപ്പൊ വെടി വെച്ചത്.
Op 4 last stop standing.
Go, go. Defuse. Give me fuse. Give me.
Drop the diffuser.
ഞാൻ അമ്പിടാൻ പോയതാണ് പുല്ല്.
Op 4 neutralized. Mission successful.
Teabagging.
Go, 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 go. Oh, wala, no, wala, no. Must be I, something no.
കൊള്ളാമല്ലോ. കോണ്ടന്റ് ഫോർ മീ.
And a 3, 4, when you anymore. الله بلال وش تطور ذا جايبه باك الله.
Friendly drone deployed. Op 4 is reinforcing its location.
دربته من 5 سنوات. تدريب انا دربته وايد. سويت انا اتحداك تحت. ابي تجي كوستم هذا الجيم.
10 seconds before insertion.
كيف عندك فعلا انت فعلت
5 seconds to insertion.
فعلت كان شغل مبقبق. يقرأ بقبق شيء. تعال معي.
You must recover the diffuser. The diffuser has been secured.
الله يقطع نزل. كيف يجي؟
One Op 4 remaining.
وانا بس انزعه بس زين. الله يقطع ما يموت. الله ينعل بس.
Op 4 eliminated. Friendly mission successful.
تعال بنلعب كوستم اوكي بلال؟ بلال بنلعب كوستم.
هلا
بنلعب كوستم 1v1.
طيب راح.
Okay, fun time's over.
But I need that tapir hide to hold more arrows. Sorry, Queen. But wait, there's actually good side content as well. Content that's questionably better than the main story itself. Gamers, I present to you The Outposts. Dotted across the map, these are the Pirates HQ where I assume they relax and appreciate the fine views of the island.
I'm getting bored now. I hate it here.
Killing all the pirates here makes the surrounding area a safe zone, unlocks a fast travel point, weapon shop, and the bulletin board. But it's how it's presented for the player to tackle that really makes these stand out. Most of them have an open top, making it perfect for a bit of recon of enemy patrols, shoddy fencing, which usually always has an opening to sneak in, and a big red alarm that pirates can use to call for backup if something goes wrong. These can be destroyed, although sometimes they ignore that and seem to just call support in anyway. This is all but begging you to treat it like it's a stealth mission, even rewarding you more XP if you take one without raising an alarm. One outpost only has 2 guards, but about 3 years worth of RSPCA rescue dogs, who all seem to mistake you as the owner who abandoned them all those years ago. It's peak Far Cry content because you could tell the devs were really having fun here. But why sneak in when I could just load a car with C4 and roll it into the camp?
Come on over, have some fun with Crazy Taxi!
Now that's gaming. Some outposts also have caged animals. Whoops. Would you like some seasoning on that? Later outposts have specialized pirates, like snipers that can see you from afar, heavy gunners that you can't silently take down this early in the game, and most importantly, MC Ride. Enemies on their own are never really a problem, especially melee-based ones that have no ranged attacks. It's when they work together, using the foliage as cover to coordinate attacks, they become a real challenge. A shotgunner on his own won't be a problem, but when closing the gap while you're already dealing with ranged pirates, the variety always keeps Jason moving. In my opinion, some of these outposts, the devs wanted you to be spotted, because in this game, it's infinitely more enjoyable when things go wrong instead of the way you plan. But by reclaiming these outposts, you start a rather large problem. The surrounding area is cleared of pirates, good for natives, but bad for gameplay. With no pirates wandering around the island, the game becomes incredibly boring. Pirates can interfere with your side missions, patrol the surrounding area, and set up roadblocks.
So,
he
Saturday, Sunday, Monday, full
just get over it, he'll respawn soon. This in turn gives the Rakyat nothing to do, so most likely they'll be eaten by a tiger or ask you to fix their car with a repair tool you never have. Seriously, it takes up 1 inventory slot. I'm not carrying that around. Even claiming an outpost, the Rakyat do nothing. They pull up in their jeep, I assume after a 5-hour drive of listening to Kids Bop God's Plan on repeat. They get out the car, walk around like they did all the work, contributing absolutely nothing. I'm not even joking. It's a ghost town. There's no pirates or Rakyat, there's nothing here. But you know what? There is one thing the Rakyat do. One thing how they contribute to society.
We have the outpost, but there is still more to do. You should take a look at the jobs on the bulletin board.
Can you help out with the items
on
the
bulletin board?
Continue in the path of a warrior. Check out the jobs on the bulletin board. Do more to do. Taking care of
cards collect
we have the outpost.
Cyberpunk card and then
for more side missions.
Friendly drone
ഞാൻ നിനക്ക് 2
where
request അയച്ചായിരുന്നു.
you have to kill a pirate. It tries to recapture the essence of the outposts, but the areas are too open.
നിനക്ക് മോക്സിന്റെ കാർഡ് വേണമെങ്കിൽ ഞാൻ തരാം. എൻ്റെ 2 എണ്ണം ഉണ്ട്.
Plus,
3 എണ്ണം
one
ഉണ്ട്.
time I failed for literally doing what the game asked me to.
Continue in the path of a warrior.
The Moxes പറഞ്ഞിട്ട് ഒരു കാർഡ് ഉണ്ട്.
Where you take it upon yourself to reduce the animal population as much as possible before the
Fourth one.
WWF show up. You have to use a specific weapon to hunt an animal each time, but you want to know a secret? Ubisoft gave you a pump-action shotgun to kill those endangered bears, but they didn't say what kind of shotgun you have to use. Go to a mansion, buy a
നിന്റെ
Spaz
കയ്യിൽ
12,
6th
and
സ്ട്രീറ്റിന്റെ
now you
ആളുടെ
have
കാർഡ്
full
ഉണ്ടെന്നാണ്
shot
പറയുന്നത്.
at
പക്ഷെ
all threat in the
3
game.
cards left.
All in all,
Wait,
these missions are pretty fun.
Animalsന്റെ
especially
കാർഡ്
when
നിന്റെ
the devs
ഇല്ലായിരുന്നു.
give you a purpose
BJP
to
ഞാൻ
gun.
വാങ്ങിച്ചത്.
There's one mission that gives you a scorpion, unironically the weakest weapon in the entire game. The aim is atrocious, meaning you'll have to get up close and you have to right there. One of the highest hit points in the game. Also, it's impossible to kill one of these things with a single mag, leaving you totally exposed. There's also rare variants of the mission. Unique animals and pelts that
വേറെ
can
ഒന്നുമല്ല,
unlock
ഇന്ന്
the
രാവിലെ
final
തൊട്ട്
tier
ഞാൻ
and
ഇരുന്നപ്പം
great
എന്റെ
capacity.
പൊസിഷൻ എന്തോ
All of
ഭയങ്കര
these
വിയേർഡായി.
can be killed with a bow. I assume
കസേര
that
ഇരുന്നപ്പം
because using a gun would
ഇപ്പം
be
ഞാൻ കുറച്ച് മുമ്പ് നോക്കിയത് ഞാൻ ഗെയിം കളിച്ചോണ്ടിരുന്ന കുറച്ചേരം ഇങ്ങനെ ഇരുന്ന് ഞാൻ ചെറുതായിട്ടൊന്ന് കസേര അനങ്ങാൻ നോക്കിയപ്പോൾ മനസ്സിലായി ആ കംപ്ലീറ്റ്ലി അതിന്റെ ഇതില്ലേ സപ്പോർട്ട് ആ ബീം അത് കംപ്ലീറ്റ്ലി നല്ലോണം ആടുന്നുണ്ട്, അത് വളഞ്ഞിരിക്കും, അതിന്റെ ഓറിയന്റേഷൻ ഒക്കെ ഭയങ്കര തെറ്റി. അതുകൊണ്ട് അതിൽ ഇരിക്കുമ്പോൾ ലൈക്ക് ഒരു 75% ചാൻസ് ഉണ്ട് അത് ആംഗിൾ ചെറുതായിട്ട് ശരിക്കും. അതെ, അതുകൊണ്ട് അത് ഞാൻ മറന്നു, ഇരുന്നിട്ട് പിന്നെ കുറച്ച് കഴിഞ്ഞ് ഞാൻ മറന്നു. അതുകൊണ്ട് ഞാൻ ഇപ്പൊ മാറ്റി വെച്ചിരിക്കുകയാണ്.
You must recover the diffuser.
My only criticism is that they're all a little bit too easy. I never really felt like I had to put in 110% effort just to get the top score. What else is there? Oh yeah, I remember. The game has actual side missions as well. A lot of them are just fetch quests, like I mentioned earlier, but some of them have gripping storylines. One mission, a woman asks you to investigate a recent plane crash, but the twist is, find the plane is decades old, and the woman was definitely, probably a ghost.
You in the village nearby?
Yeah, why?
Eh?
Only one on point.
Oh,
Which point? Which point?
Only that there's no old woman who lives there.
Very spooky. Another asks you to photograph dead pirates. Wait, isn't this just a fetch quest? Oh, never mind. You take the pictures, only to find out the man is a necrophile.
I have to analyze these pictures in private before posting them.
How brave. Another woman asks you to spy on her husband, thinking he's cheating on her, only for you to discover he's gay, and the woman is a ghost. Alright, I made the last bit up. The guy is actually gay though. That's why he wasn't.
You're being unfair.
About me!
About Rebecca.
About me!
Yet another woman asks you to scare a stalker away by shooting near him, not at him. I instantly got reminded of a similar side mission in GTA 4 where you had to scare a girl's abusive boyfriend without actually killing him. In GTA 4, you can kill him, and the scene plays out differently. But here, I don't know why he's even scared of you. He's completely bulletproof. All of these quests, except one, give no unique reward, just cash money, which is mostly used to buy and upgrade weapons. Extended magazine and silencer? No thank you. I'll cover my gun in a cool looking paint.
Engravings give you no tactical advantage whatsoever.
Whoa! If you wanted, you could be a sweaty assassin, putting silencers on every single gun with no drawbacks whatsoever, but the game becomes incredibly boring when you do that. To counter this, there could have been a system where silencers could wear down and eventually break, so you couldn't rely on them as much. That would really help create an unexpected, chaotic scenario that this game revels in. I noticed that the optical sights you use seem to be damaged and hard to actually look through. You've got scratches on the lens and sun rays blocking your view. I thought that was really cool, like, you know, it played with the jungle setting of everything already being pre-owned, and it didn't turn the optical sight into a click to win. But when you switch from the optical sight to any sniper scope, that is completely pristine. It's genuinely like it's a pre-order bonus or something. Like, it would have been cool if you could buy, I don't know, like qualities of attachments, like a cheap scope that would cover cracks and grime, and more premium price scopes that would, you know, look like this. Another problem with the weapon attachments is they're way too affordable and basically overpower every gun. If you equip a semi-auto rifle with a scope and a suppressor, you'll basically have a semi-automatic sniper that enemies have no chance against. Even playing on the highest difficulty, I had to handicap myself by taking off silencers and equipping lower tier weapons. Otherwise, the gameplay just wasn't interesting. They could have countered this by having better weapons have ammunition that costs a lot more and is incredibly rare. This would force you to save better weapons for special occasions. Talking about the weapons a bit more, I love them. I think they perfectly encapsulate what the Rook Island is, a huge dumping ground for the corrupt. There are a fair amount of guns in the game, and pretty much all of them hail from far-off foreign countries. It carries over the same concept of smuggled weapons from Far Cry 2, except those guns could actually jam.
Where do you get the weapons? It's a romantic notion that they all came out of the Soviet Union after the collapse. I move weapons, I profit from circulation. You get a ceasefire in Liberia, both sides disarm. You think they slag 2,000 tons of guns? No. They sell them to me. I resell them wherever the next war is starting. The rest mostly come from old European armies.
So some of these guns are very old. They've been bought and sold repeatedly.
They're not biodegradable. Only the dead are biodegradable.
The economy of Rook Island is actually pretty interesting. Items you find on the island that would have next to no value are now treasured, and vice versa. A gold chain? Get that trash out of here. Now, a crack pipe?
It's a good fucking thing.
All of these as well have Dark Souls tier item descriptions, giving you seconds of world building. The collectibles in this game are a mixed bag. Letters of the Lost give world building, telling stories of Japanese soldiers slowly going insane. Finding 6 of these unlocks a Tanto knife that instant kills all but heavy enemies in one hit. I like the letters because there's only 20 of them, but I don't like the relics. In total, there's 120 relics on the Rook Islands, each one representing part of Jason's tattoo. Spider relics are found in caves, shark relics are found underwater, boar relics are usually hidden behind a wall that Buzz Lightyear's laser could destroy, and heron relics are found in high up places. So unless you have a glider, you'll be rubbing up against the geometry trying to mantle up to get them. Collecting enough relics unlocks special syringes. At 30 relics you get untouchable, which makes you invulnerable to everything. Fall damage? Not a problem. Gunfire? One of those Nerf guns. Although, for some reason, the devs didn't seem to code in quick time events, so they still instant kill you. Collecting 40 relics unlocks Touch of Death, a syringe that lets you instant kill anything in one bullet. Although, Ubisoft missed a massive opportunity by not making the Rock an instant kill. What else was there? Oh yeah, the main story. After making sure Daisy is okay, the next couple of missions involve sabotaging the pirate's business and trying to track down the rest of your friends. I ran the game on ultra settings so you guys could get the best quality experience. Whoa! Whoa! I'm not sure why the TV survived. Does Ubisoft watch pirates? Your mom. These couple of missions prove to Jason he can deal with the pirates alone. He doesn't need help, and while this is making him into a stronger person, something Dennis and Rakiat want, all this killing is slowly making him lose parts of himself in the process. Eventually, Jason finds Liza, his girlfriend, and frees her from the pirates, nearly dying multiple times in the process.
Biohazard detected. Blood loss detected. Evacuate area.
And during the escape, you can tell that Liza and Jason are dealing with the situation a lot differently.
Drive straight! You're making me miss! Faster! Faster! We're off road! I can't! This who? The cops?
Now, you could argue that this is just, quirky Nathan Drake dialogue, Jason trying to be the funny man in a tense situation.
Is that an ancient Tibetan ritual dagger in your pocket?
Maybe I'm just happy to see you.
I mean, at one point he screamed Serpentine, a reference to the 1979 comedy film The In-Laws.
Serpentine! 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 Serpentine!
But you know what? Let's smoke our tobacco pipes and indulge what the writers were probably trying to aim for. Jason right now could be having a complete power trip. He comes across as uncaring for his safety or his girlfriend's. He just wants to nay-nay as many pirates as possible before the ride stops. He doesn't even seem glad to have escaped. It's more that he's just racked up so many kills.
Hell yeah! Those motherfuckers never knew what hit him.
Furthermore, when consoling Liza, he seems totally disconnected from her fears and puts himself as the guy who's going to fix everything.
We did it!
You think almost being killed or sold into slavery is fun?
Hey, Lisa, calm down.
It's a nightmare.
Okay, listen, I'm fixing this.
Even when being reminded of his brother's passing, Jason just seems to shrug it off, considering it less important.
I don't know anything about work grants.
Grant's dead. But I found Yankee with no brim!
It's normal for people to stonewall as part of the grieving process, or to focus on other things so they don't get consumed by emotion. But by not properly taking the time to acknowledge Grant's death and mourn, Jason is isolating himself when his friends need him the most. Liza's taken to a cave underneath Dr. Earnhardt's house. This is where any rescued friends end up. They have another conversation about nearly dying, but Jason seems to shrug it off, not heeding Liza's warnings.
We nearly didn't make that escape.
Lisa, I've got this. Don't worry.
Anyway, I started blasting. Bang! Bang! Thank God I went down to Gunther's Guns and picked up a spare.
Now, you guys want to know a secret? Something not even Matt Pat the Candlestick Man has found out? In a corner of the same cave, you can find a pot of pills I assume Dr. Earnhardt left behind. Given the prompt, you can eat one and flash back to Bangkok days before you skydive to Rook Island.
Little fifth floor Thai massage?
It's actually really jarring seeing all your friends and family together. It's a far cry from the situation you're all in. Get it? Get it? Get it? Far cry?
Bruh.
The name of the Thai bar, which I'm not even going to try to pronounce, means far shout. So, you know, you can't be more on the nose than that. There's no big twist here. It's just you and your friends enjoying a night out. Your objective is literally to buy everyone drinks. You can tell, however, that this is cut content that they quickly try to reapply into the game. Any NPC that isn't from your group looks even more cardboard than usual. And the majority of the club is blocked off by two guys trying to, woo miladies. I guess Jason's social anxiety won't let him pass, but whatever. Also, the cutscene where you get the drinks is an exact copy-paste from the intro video. After taking your shots, you wake up, apparently wandering to the far side of the cave. No music plays, just you're left alone with your thoughts on how Jason ended up in this situation. Honestly, it's amazing world building, reminding the player that Jason did have a normal life before all this. It's sad because I bet most people missed these pills the first time playing the game. There's no mission marker, just a tiny glowing bowl. I wish the game had more story building segments like this. Eventually, Jason gets a meeting with Citra, the Rakyat's leader. She's a very interesting character I'll talk about later. Initially, she has no interest in a soft American white boy like yourself. And just when she's about to turn you away, you mention that Vars killed your brother. She suddenly seems to take interest.
He took my brother.
Friendly, last operator
and I will
standing.
do anything to get him back.
All
Your
friendlies
tablet
were
updates
eliminated.
with some pretty
Mission
vague
failure.
information about her. They call her a warrior goddess. I know that she's resisted Vars, Hoyt, and their pirates every step of the way. She gives Jason a bottle and tells him the following.
Bring me what has been lost. And we'll talk.
Dennis seems extremely happy Citra even wanted to speak with you.
Wow.
Yes, Citra saw the fire in you.
Dennis is clearly someone who fiercely respects Citra. She's the person who gave him purpose on the island. After drinking what I guess is liquid LSD, you trip out again, but instead of looking into the past like with the mushrooms, you look ahead at possibilities that could be. Jason follows a man in a white suit and can see what looks like to be a ceremonial dagger. We can only assume that that is the thing that Citra wants returned to her. Jason wakes up, explains his dream to Dennis, who tells him where to head next. He also fits your arm with a longer tattoo sleeve, giving you the ability to unlock more perks that were
Friendly drone
previously locked.
deployed.
This
Op 4 is
diegetically
reinforcing
shows
its
that Jason is improving, turning into a resilient warrior the Rakyat desire, and Dennis is rewarding him with more capacity to grow his strength. Dennis's directions take you to Bad Town, which is the North Island's biggest village. There's nothing really to do here apart from one vendor and a poker game. The rest of the villagers are all
10
set
seconds
dressing.
to go.
And if you couldn't tell from the town having the word bad in it, it's not a great
5
place.
seconds to go.
Toaster! Who got my toaster? Give me back my toaster, you!
You can even find one woman, if you stand around her long enough, she'll break the fourth wall talking directly to the player, calling Jason a puppet.
Oh, little puppet. They painted you red. You're all red. I can see your streaks, white boy. Dance! Dance!
She even references the characters from Far Cry 2, primarily Ruben, the war journalist.
What about me? A war journalist looking for a story to redeem me.
Also your main target in the previous game, the Jackal.
No! I was a smuggler and a ship captain, trapped here after the Jackal sold me out.
After seeing the guy in the white suit, ladies and gentlemen, can I present to you a Ubisoft trailing mission?
This is a load of barnacles.
Alright, to be fair with them, there's only one in the entire game, but it's terrible. You have to follow the guy at a snail's pace, where he periodically stands still just to inhale the fresh, rotten fish, I guess. Also, if you go more than 7 micrometers away from him, a countdown starts, or you fail the mission. I'm hidden behind some boxes about 10 yards away from him, but the game thinks I need to move in closer. Also, the devs clearly didn't know what to do if anyone actually got spotted by him, so he just turns into a normal NPC and flees. When you eventually follow him into his house, like most people, he doesn't take too kindly to strangers.
You have 10 seconds to tell me who you are before I remotely detonate the C4 under the table and this whole place explodes like a pop bottle.
Jesus!
Jason
Brody!
Really?
Yes!
This is Willis Huntley, the CIA agent, undercover on the island to keep tabs on Willis' activities. I personally love Willis. He's a purposely over-exaggerated American, putting patriotism before anything else, comparing any scenario to something stereotypical with American culture.
But you can say something, Brody. Thing is, the real patriot doesn't just put his hand on his gun while holding a hot dog.
He's almost like any Hideo Kojima bad guy, but instead he works for the player. Willis gives you the mission to destroy the pirate's business, so the big boss Hoyt comes down to investigate. And to those who haven't played the game before, it's a mission where you burn weed and it plays a Skrillex song. Again, current year. Returning to Willis, Jason asks if he ever leaves his base, which he gives a very interesting answer to.
Hey, you ever go out on recon with your guys?
No. There's a reason I have the American flag in here. In here, there's society, there's order. Out there, the jungle, the synapses in our brains go dark little by little. You forget where you're from, who you are.
Quite overdramatic, but he does make sense. By lying to himself and calling his base home, Willis never needs to venture outside, therefore never exposing himself to the jungle.
What was that noise?
Jason has done the opposite, so much he's became involved with the tribe. The killings, the tattoos, the weird LSD trips. Willis hasn't had to deal with anything like that. He knows the island is dangerous and chooses to disconnect himself until he returns to America. After saving one of Willis's contacts and taking a picture of some low-res documents, you find the location of another one of your friends, Oliver Caswell. You find and liberate him as he's about to be sold off, I assume to star in the 17th Taken film. And the pirates respond to you sniping them by trying to shoot Oliver. They're not even trying to incapacitate him, they're just going for kill shots. Finally meeting Oliver face to face, he acts a bit too calm.
Thanks for saving me. Hey, nice tats, man. Let's get out of here!
I thought this was lazy character writing, but Oliver assumed he was being taken back home to his parents after his dad paid the ransom money.
And they're putting the screws to my dad. He was about to give them a ton of money.
Ollie, you would have been sold right into slavery afterward, even if he'd paid.
Oh, shit. Man, this is some heavy shit, man!
After dropping Oliver to the friendship cave, Liza gets your attention, showing you she's built a cross for Grant.
I'm building a cross for Grant.
Oh yeah, remember your dead brother? You probably don't. All the missions and collecting and killing distracted Jason from mourning his brother. Liza is trying to be Jason's anchor, reminding him of the life he has to go back to once the adventure's over. But Jason keeps pushing her away. He doesn't want to leave the dream world because all that waits back home is mediocrity.
I'm not saying you shouldn't go rescue them. I'm just worried it's affecting you.
Lisa, don't worry. I'm taking control of my life for the first time.
I know, you're
That's
right.
a good thing.
We've been working really hard on that. I get it. You're stressed out. We can meet up later. I love you.
Hey, fun boys, get the room.
Also, while you're in the friendship cave, you can talk to characters you've rescued, and their dialogue varies wildly. Talking to Oliver, he just says he wants to get stoned, you know, nothing really of note.
Now, if you'll excuse me, I have a fire to inhale.
But one time I talked to Daisy, Jason opens up to her a lot more, and not in a good way.
I never thought I'd be able to kill someone. The first time I felt wrong. Which is good, right? But now, it feels like...
Are you okay?
Yeah.
This is probably one of the most powerful scenes in the game. No dramatic music to tell you how to feel, just Daisy's horrified expression of what you've just said. She doesn't even know what to say, you just kind of both agree to say nothing and leave it at that. You can also take another pill before leaving. You trip out again in the same club you were, only more is now accessible. You can buy drinks at the bar, apparently dying after 3 shots. Why could no video game portray alcohol right? You can even go onto the dance floor and bust some moves. Again, it's stupid, but it reminds you how, even though you're basically in hell at the minute, there are other people still just living normal lives. The flashback ends with Oliver and Keith being harassed by 2 locals. Keith taking the dominant role and standing up to them.
No more fights, you promise.
As you wish. On someone else, guys. Hey, big dude must pay. Fuck you, asshole. You think you're better than us? Yeah, I do. These are turf. Not yours. Watch your back. We'll see about that.
Later on, you're contacted by Willis, telling you that one of your friends, Keith Ramsey, has been bought by the pirates and sold to a man called Buck. You track him down in the Badtown bar, and within the first conversation, you can really tell what kind of character he is.
You're Buck.
Well, it's not my birthday. She must be Christmas.
Op 4, last stop standing.
You bought him from Hoyt.
Ah, him. He said his name was...
Buck Hughes is a vile character and represents the first major hurdle Jason has to overcome. At the minute, Vas is nowhere to be found, probably off harassing more locals. And Hoyt is conducting business on the southern island. Buck represents the sexual desire of the island. If you notice, when you first meet him, his eyes are checking you out constantly, and he compares most situations to a sexual reference.
Well, come on, ask me. What are they looking for? Buck?
No.
I should cane you for that. I really should. But you know what? I'll cane Keith instead.
Jason even foreshadows Buck's character before he meets him proper.
So his name is Buck. Blackstone.
Yeah, I know it's a Kill Bill reference, but I'm really trying for this video, right? If Buck looks familiar to anyone that hasn't played Far Cry 3, that's because Mafia City uses his character model as an asset in the ads they stick all over YouTube. They even use Sam Fisher too, like, how has there not been a lawsuit over this? Buck wants you to find a knife, the exact knife Citra wants returning to her tribe. In return, he'll give you back your friend Keith. He won't let on to why he needs it, but he seems very protective of it.
I've seen this knife before.
Knife? It's not just a fucking knife. It's art. More history in this than you and Keith's 4 arches squeezed together.
The next 5 missions are dedicated solely to Buck as you try to track down the location of the knife. Now, these missions vary massively in quality. The first, you need to get information off an anchored ship for the location.
Let me be clear.
Now, a mission like this actually sounds pretty cool. You know, a stealth mission where you have to infiltrate a ship, sneak around, taking down occupants not to alert any suspicion.
5 seconds to insert.
Just a little fucking knife that asked you to get me, but you're too bloody incompetent, too fucking lazy to get it.
The only problem is, there's only 2 ways to get onto the boat. 2 ladders either side on the back end of the boat. And when you climb up either of these ladders, you'll probably be instantly spotted from enemy placement, sending the whole ship into high alert. I don't even know why they gave you 2 separate ladders to climb if they're essentially right. It would have been cool if there were actually invented ways to get on the boat instead of just wooden ladders. I mean, what if you used a hang glider instead? They're dotted all over the island, and this would be perfect to get an aerial drop on a mission. Or maybe even like a hatch to get into the ship. Like, come on, man. Even Banjo-Kazooie did this. When you get into the ship and find the laptop, it's protected by a heavy gunner, but he's facing his back towards you. Keep in mind, it's impossible to do a heavy takedown at this point in the game. The perk you need to do it is locked until you meet Citra again much later into the game. Heavy gunners are incredibly slow, only being able to walk, covered in Kevlar armor, and for some reason, they're the only enemy in the game to wear sandals.
What are those? Whoa!
They're incredibly resistant to small arms fire, taking multiple sniper rounds in the face just to drop them. But thankfully, again, your boy, Ubisoft added a flare gun into the game that is so fundamentally broken, has a 50-50 chance to either do no damage at all, or instant kill someone with a 5-kilometer radius.
So basically,
Jason gets onto the laptop to find the location. He does that thing with the laptop that happens in like every media ever, where he presses a bunch of random keys and the laptop like hundreds of windows with way too much information for anyone to process. But hey, it looks cool.
Most disgusting glitch എന്ന് പറഞ്ഞുകൊണ്ട് കിടപ്പുണ്ട്.
ഇപ്പൊ ബേസിക്കലി ഇപ്പൊ എനിക്ക് ഒന്നും ചെയ്യാൻ പറ്റണ്ട. ഈ കോൺവെർസേഷന് ലോക്ക്ഡ് ഔട്ട് ആണ് ഞാൻ.
Exit.
Grab some weird disc thing, and then the game goes full Michael Bay mode. Of course, the room was booby trapped. We know how pirates work. They don't trust anyone, even themselves. The boat sinks and you have to try to escape while it floods. It's a pretty cool sequence. A generous thought to people who didn't bother to upgrade their lung capacity. And the free sandwich so hell-bent on looking cool when they kill you, their aviators glued onto their face. You escape the ship just in time, and when you wake up on the beach,
Tier 5 sandwich done.
Tier 5?
Get the fuck up! Come on!
4 eliminated. Mission successful.
On that project, it wasn't on the boat.
Finding out you didn't get the knife, he begins to taunt you by saying how Keith isn't doing too great. See, Buck is like Vas, not as psychotic, but still enjoys playing with his food. He maintains the composure of Hoyt, but the insidious intent of Vas. I believe on these missions, he knew all along where the location of the knife was, but he sends you to your death multiple times just for his amusement. This is further proven when you follow the compass to the next marker. Buck's there waiting for you.
Fuck If you knew where I was supposed to go, why didn't you just tell me?
Jason, don't get your knickers in a twist. I'm not playing the bloody game you are. I'm just a spectator here. I expect a good show, eh?
Also, he does that video game thing where he walks behind you and just disappears from the entire planet. Why don't the devs think that people are going to turn around when a cutscene ends? Anyway, you enter the bunker and find that the pirates are already there. I can only assume Buck sent them to the location, hoping they'd kill you and pillage the compass off your body. Once you kill them and blow a charge they were planting to move through the level, it changes drastically to something Far Cry 3 really hasn't tried yet. Once you get past the giant hole in the wall, there are no pirates. They only managed to push so far underground, and now you're in uncharted territory. The environment changes massively as well, slowly turning into this ancient sunken city collapsing around you. There are pitfalls, big buttons you have to press in. There's even a puzzle where you have to shoot support beams to raise the water to escape. Not exactly 300 IQ gaming, but it's nice the devs tried something new here. It made me feel like I was back on my PlayStation 1 playing Tomb Raider before I actually had any real-life responsibilities. If you're a 90s kid, please like and subscribe. But as soon as it's getting good, the mission ends. You pick up another compass piece, there's a cave in, and in true Indiana Jones fashion, you have to escape. You can even see an overview of the entire lost city, but you don't get to explore it. The game doesn't let you. Clearly the devs were going to try something new here, and I just wish they stuck with it. After escaping, you're greeted by Buck.
Tier 5 അല്ലേ ഏറ്റവും കൂടിയത് കേട്ടോ. Tier 5++ ഉണ്ട്.
The knife. Again.
Oh, the upgrade ചെയ്യാനല്ലേ.
All right? No. Jason, that's not all right. Too busy playing games, aren't you? Well, fine. I just gotta play a game of pin the tail of the donkey with Keith.
Buck also alludes to knowing the location of the knife the entire time.
You know where I'm supposed to go, don't you?
Oh, mate. Just know where you're headed.
He even teaches you a little history lesson about the island before.
In front, you, watch out!
Empires betraying each other for treasures stashed underneath the island. He seems to be more interested in your venture than the actual knife itself.
Listen up. Remember Zing He? With his treasure ships? Out trying to collect riches for the Mings?
Well, fucking Zing He, he's got this captain called Lin Kong. And Lin Kong goes fucking AWOL. What do you think happened to the treasure? Treasure hunters have been after that crap ever since. Even the bloody chaps are looking for it, but nobody knows where it is.
And if you're wondering, yes, I have tried to kill him, but unfortunately, he has plot immunity. This mission takes you to a mine shaft where you have to kill racially insensitive pirates.
Phantom Liberty സിസ്റ്റർ ഹാൻഡ്സ് വിളിച്ചിട്ട് പറയും അവിടുത്തെ റോഡുകൾ ഓടിക്കാൻ ഈ വണ്ടിയാണ് നല്ലത്.
There are minecarts you can push to create cover from sniper fire, but it's literally pointless. There's only 2 snipers that you can easily run past, and the minecart provides no cover from enemies shooting over the bridge. Hardest difficulty, by the way.
Let's play Echo, brother Echo.
Although, why would you when most of the enemies die in a single shot anyway? I repeated this segment about 3 times to try and actually crush someone with rocks, and I could never get them to line up right. You enter an area the pirates haven't touched yet, again, repeating the same layout as the previous mission. But this time, there are Komodo dragons. How have they survived down here, by the way? There's no other animals or water. Anyway, same thing as last mission. Pick up thingy in cave falls in, and Buck is there to greet.
Let them come!
But this time it's instead of being an errand boy, Jason built up enough courage to he only backs down once he realizes if he does this, Buck ends the game and kills him prematurely.
You call the shots now, eh? Is that what you're doing? Hector, apparently I'm no longer calling the shots. Dismantle everything and the Tito.
No, Sandom, WPയും സാൻഡോമിന്റെയും ഇടയ്ക്ക് മൗസ് വെച്ചേക്കുന്ന അവിടെ തന്നെ അവിടെയാണ്
This time before I met Buck, I got a group of rapiat together, drove up to Buck, but when they were confronted with him, they got in the driver's seat and took off. I assume they've got more bulletin boards to the next mission is finally acquiring with gimmicks that changed next to nothing in gameplay. This cave
basically my company 2 വണ്ടി ഇറക്കുന്നുള്ളൂ.
Celsius.
It
really takes a while to chip away at your health. I think a dog boss is my kind of. The devs must have known this because the death animation by Sulfur
and also എന്റെ അഭിപ്രായത്തില് so നിനക്ക് എപ്പോഴാണ് കളിക്കാൻ പറ്റും. ഇവിടെ ബേസിക്കലി ലൂട്ട് ഡ്രോപ്പ് ചെയ്യുന്നത് നിന്റെ ലെവൽ അനുസരിച്ചിട്ടാണ്.
Or maybe a platforming segments where
നീ higher level എവിടെയെങ്കിലും പോവുകയാണെങ്കിൽ അവിടെ നിന്ന് കിട്ടുന്ന loot ആ
again, the
level
Surf is a
ഉള്ളതായിരിക്കും.
really cool idea, but really underutilized. Anyway, you know the score by now. Go to an unexplored part of the cave, fight some Komodo dragons, grab thingy, cave is full in, leave cave. I love the concept of these missions, but just because it worked once doesn't mean you get to repeat it in the exact same format 2 more times. Anyway, for once, Rob isn't waiting. I want you to meet him at his house. Also, by the way, his house is literally right next to Bad Town. You can even see the bar. Literally, I felt really insulted. The only thing stopping us from barging into Buck's house earlier. But I guess you could argue this by saying Jason's changed since his first encounter with Buck. He's colder and more demanding. By Buck sending you on those suicide missions, he accidentally made Jason stronger. More kills means more tattoos, making Jason more powerful, story and gameplay wise.
Go fuck yourself.
You give the knife to Buck and find Keith. Clearly in the
Phantom
worst
Liberty
shape.
Psycho
He recoils when you go near him, begging
Maybe
you not to
I'll
hurt
go
him.
and do something.
I can't take anymore.
It's a stark contrast to seeing his dominating personality in the club flashbacks. This is someone who's trapped and afraid. The game doesn't outright say it, but it's pretty apparent that Buck bought Keith as a sex slave and only used him as bait for you afterwards.
Actually, what I said was, Keith could leave with you, but you're not going anywhere.
We're walking through that door.
You are what I say you are.
Jason goes lightheaded, and when you come to, the room is changed. The walls are removed and
But
lights
Njan
hang
appeared
from apparently nowhere. The background doesn't look plausible, but that's the point. Jason, out of his own mind, has created a barrier to confront Bucket. I believe this is his way of coping with the situation. Assuming you don't fail the Town event, you kill Buck in a quick, clean and efficient way.
I see.
There's no joy taken
in all honesty, അവള് okay ആണ് like news ഒന്നും കേൾക്കാറില്ല അവളെ കുറിച്ച്.
His hands shaking, realizing what he's done. He's killed many pirates before this, but Buck wasn't the face of murder. He was someone who wanted to dominate and control Jason. Without Buck being involved in the story, I don't believe Jason would have the strength.
Oh, by the way,
plus,
മറ്റേ ഏഷ്യൻ ഗെയിംസ് ലീഗ് ഓഫ് ലെജൻഡ്സ് വരുന്നെന്ന് പറഞ്ഞല്ലോ. Guess who's Korean team captain ആയിരുന്നു guess ചെയ്തു.
Keith begs you not to tell anyone about what happened. Clearly traumatized by it.
Just 5 seconds.
Oh, by the way, he tells you that your younger brother Ryan is dead, and he just walks off.
I'll get We'll be back in Santa Monica in no time.
Who would have thought?
You have dropped the diffuser. The diffuser is now.
Believing his brother is actually dead, Jason snaps, applying Sony Vegas vignette filter, promising to kill them all.
All of them. I swear.
Liza, again concerned for you, wants you to stay and breathe. You can tell she cares because she actually closed a book she was reading. Ubisoft, truly the bravest of players.
You are a true patriot.
Jason again pushes her away. His way of grieving isn't to talk it out, but to kill as a distraction.
This is why you stay here. I can help.
Oh.
I can take care of you.
Stop making this about us.
What are you talking about?
You can talk to Oliver about Riley's death. This is pretty much the closest he gets to character development outside the pothead in a slasher movie.
Happy 420, everyone. This is the top 13 stoners of Friday the 13th.
I heard about your brother. That's fucked up.
We all took care of each other after Dad died.
Lucky to have you around. My parents, they were too busy traveling the world to notice me. You guys are my family now. And losing Riley and Grant fucking hurts.
Although apparently still too much of a pothead to share his stash.
Hey, can I have a hit of that?
No.
You're next, Oliver, right after my overprotective girlfriend. There's a third and final pill you can take, which takes you back to the club in Bangkok. The guys that were starting on Keith and Oliver in the toilets now attack you. You escape into an elevator, seeing everyone in your group. I'm not sure who Mr. Beanie is though. He's in the intro video, but never named. I assume like a cook character that Bars killed off screen.
Do you want me to slice you open like I did your friend? Shut the fuck up!
He didn't seem talking, but nothing comes out of his mouth.
So, you got anything else specifically? Nah, we're just seeing where the flow takes us.
What?
You also have a new guy that Jason introduces.
Oh, hey, everyone. This is Doug. I'm the DJ here and all around excellent guy. Hey, Doug. Hey, Doug.
Your older brother, Grant, is the only person to say how dangerous the idea is.
That's what I'm talking about.
Jump blind? That's risky.
Oh, come on.
Your new friend, folks, is that
operators
the entire reason your brothers are dead, your friends are stranded, and Jason is slowly going insane. He's the catalyst for the entire game. If you never met him, Jason and his group would have just gone back to America and lived their average lives. There's no crew chiefs and spotter, but it can be assumed by him donning most of his raids, looks like Voss and his pirates. Oh yeah, and the lead writer confirmed it on Twitter, so yeah, not much to go off. Back in the present, you can talk to Daisy again, and you can really feel Jason's arrogance growing.
Keith's sleeping. Seems pretty fucked up. How's it going out there?
I feel like I'm invincible. It's you guys I'm worried about.
This is the way Jason's always acted to his friends, but the island's changed it. Killing Buck was a massive turning point. As much as Jason is now his own master, it's corrupted him. He begins showing his knife off to Daisy, who isn't too pleased.
What's that?
Oh, this? This is from the tomb of a Chinese warrior.
Friendly drone
Well,
deployed.
fire, get
Op
rid of
4
it.
is reinforcing
Why?
its location.
This knife is going to save us.
Don't let the pretty design fool you. Knives take
10
people
seconds.
away. They don't bring them back.
Nice foreshadowing, Ubisoft.
5 seconds to go.
Later on, you run into Dennis, telling you he's leading an attack for prisoners taken by the pirates, then proceeds to run in the opposite direction back inside the temple. You link up with the Rakyat, who clearly didn't get the same mocap budget that Dennis got. He gives you the explosives, and after planting what clearly isn't C4, you get a call from Liza on Dr. Earnhardt's phone.
Hello?
Hey, Jason, it's Lisa.
I'm kind of busy. What's up?
Letting you know that the boat's coming along. When you back here.
Not sure.
You are coming back, right?
Yeah.
Okay. See you soon.
They don't understand.
Jason now seems indifferent to his friend's escape. Like, you know, she fixed the boat. You know, the only thing that can guarantee you safe travel off the island, the thing that can actually bypass the magical barrier that whoops you back to the island. Jason should be relieved, but he's so consumed with helping the Rakyat and liberating the island, his home of California with vegan options in the burger menu just seem completely alien to him. When the ambush actually begins, you're not ambushing pirates. These guys seem a lot more organized than actual soldiers. I'll talk more about them later. You eventually get to the convoy truck, and inside is
Jason, you miss me?
Pledge out.
Vast Montenegro is the heart of Far Cry 3, and the only real reason I'm making this video. One thing to note is that in the 35 hours I played Far Cry 3, only about 15 minutes had anything to do with Vast. It's stunning how such an amazing character is so underutilized in this game. This is a curse Ubisoft can't ward off in future installments either. 4 hours of gameplay, bad guy appears for a cutscene, 4 more hours of gameplay, bad guy appears for another cutscene, repeat for about 2 more times, and then the bad guy dies. Maybe sometimes you might get lucky and have an antagonist mock you on the radio. That's nothing compared to seeing them in person.
I've been thinking about my image on the world stage, and I think what I lack is a celebrity endorsement. A pop star. Let's see how much coffee is going for. You on Twitter? Oh, I would love to shoot the breeze with that young man.
Voss is the head of the pirates. As most of them lack any sort of real personality, to save time on resources, most of the pirates have their faces covered with helmets and bandanas. I think their biggest character development is stating the various STIs they've contracted.
Diffuser is online and active.
Oh, shit. I think that whore gave me the clap.
Voss is important because he is the island and everyone on it. He represents what people will become if they spend too long there. He is the decay that transfers onto Jason as he starts his descent during the events of the game. I think I'm so infatuated with Voss because we see so little of him. There's 3 main villains in Far Cry 3, arguably a 4th I'll bring up later, but honestly, you could scrap all of them and just have Voss. The game is better. Hoyt, Voss's employer, just reminds me of the mobsters from a John Wick film. And Buck, a washed-up hitman, is just every Australian when they don't get their 8th bottle of VB.
I'm here for my friend, Keith.
Vast is first introduced by basically telling you how screwed you are. He revels in the chaos, unlike Hoyt, who only traffics people for business. Vast is a loose cannon. He gains nothing by having this conversation with you. There's no information to extract. He's just tormenting and humiliating you. But to him, it's incredibly cathartic.
What is it, Jason? Jason, what is it? Why are you laughing now like you did up there? What is this not fun anymore? How about to entertain you?
He loves to remind you that anywhere apart from where you are right now is freedom, and you've lost that right.
You see, the thing is, up there, you thought you had a chance. Way up in the fucking skies, you thought you had your finger. But hermano, down here.
ഇത് മറ്റേതല്ലേ ഈ ഏരിയ അല്ലേ മറ്റേ
അവിടെ കെറോഷിന്റെ മാത്രമേ ഉണ്ടായിരുന്നുള്ളൂ.
കിറോഷി മാത്രമല്ല, ഇവിടെ അടുത്തെവിടെ ഒരിടത്ത് നമ്മൾ ഇത് ചെയ്തിട്ടുണ്ടായിരുന്നു മറ്റേ.
This is all enabled by the amazing voice and motion capture of Michael.
So ഇതേപോലെ നമ്മൾ പോകുമ്പോഴത്തേക്കും ഇതിന്റെ ഫ്രണ്ടിലാണ് അവൾ പാർക്ക് ചെയ്തത്.
So much so that he appeared as himself in much of the promotional material leading up to the game's release.
I want a cheeseburger.
When auditioning for Far Cry 3, Ubisoft thought he would be too much of a loose cannon and dropped him.
When I initially auditioned for Ubisoft, the character of Vast did not exist. And I gave him anything but what they were looking for. And obviously, I did not get the part.
Only to call him later, telling him they're making a new character based entirely off his performance.
But I get a call a few weeks later saying, Ubisoft liked your audition so much, they're creating this small character based on the audition you had done. The character is going to look like you.
It's like water under the bridge.
There's even clips of him performing in his mocap suit, and for someone in a black bodysuit with little balls all over him, I could totally tune out of that just to see Vast.
Let's
go. On the radio, those idiot fucks, man. You gotta get out. Please stop swearing. Okay, we are.
What's that? Why did Michael Mando win an award for the best T-pose in video game history?
ഞാൻ ഗോട്ടിയതാണെന്ന് ഉള്ളതിന്റെ പ്രൂഫ് അറിയാൻ എന്തോന്നാണ്.
There's a web series called The Far Cry Experience. Nails the acting of Vast. It's a black comedy in the base game. I don't think there's a scene in Far Cry 3 of Vast blowing a trumpet.
It's a simple life.
You put your gun down. You. If I get one step, you shoot me. Okay. Like this?
Also, there's Christopher Mintz-Plasse, a real-life actor playing himself, and is captured by Vast and tortured in various advertiser-friendly means. And at the end of the video, it asks you to find his body in Far Cry 3, which you actually can. He looks a little bit different, though. I assume they didn't have the budget to add his likeness for an Easter egg that 1% of people will find. It's not until several hours into the game you see him again, as you're captured by pirates and wake up to him doing a ballerina dance covering everyone in gasoline. And this is where he actually opens up about himself.
Who gave you that ink? I ask you a question, who gave you that ink? Sister gave you that ink? My sister gave you that ink? Huh? You think that makes you one of us? That makes you like me?
See, as warped as Vast's brain actually is, he still has high respect for family and the values that it brings.
Fuck you!
So the screen goes I sound
Later on in the game, you meet Citra, who is the only friendly faction in the game. Well, apart from the civilians, but I wouldn't really call them a faction. Citra is actually the sister of Vast, and one thing I never noticed despite the sibling rivalry, as much as Vast talks about his sister, Citra barely ever mentions Vast. Only when you kill him later on in the game does she even acknowledge his existence and why they separated.
He left me, the tribe, his birthright. Boys broke and lured him away with money, drugs. He became a monster and stole my brother.
Citra gives a pretty black and white take on what happened, but Vast has a very different take on it.
The only time I ever do anything for my sister, the first time I ever killed her.
No, please. You see, the thing about our loved ones, right? Our fucking loved ones! They come and die the fucking time.
This is not what someone would say who knowingly betrayed his family. It sounds like someone who was burnt by his family, forced into a corner and had no way out. And honestly, I believe Vas. His brain is totally scrambled from Fortnite, but as insane as he is, he's always honest. I've already said it, but Michael Mando does an amazing job conveying the pain Vas is feeling, even including that nervous trickle at the end, but he knows it's going to be okay.
They say, Vas, who the fuck is it going to be? Dan or me? Me or Dan?
Vas is actually so invested in Sidil via the tattoos you've collected throughout the game, he decides to burn your bodies so there's no remnants of their mark.
It's way too bad I woke you up. Because now the only way to finish my baby.
Citra hurt Vas so badly that he wants all memories of her erased. The first time you can see Vas interacting with someone that isn't you, he still goes on about family. It's something cemented into his psyche.
All the time. Family's priceless. Family's priceless. No, please. That is fucking bullshit. Family is an anchor to our fucking Titanic.
Taking a moment to recharge my shields.
Look me in the eye.
Now, as insane as Vas is, I personally think it's all an act, a way to intimidate everyone around him, or even as a self-defense mechanism. Several missions in the main story, Agent Willis plays an audio recording of Vas talking to his employer, Hoyt, the man who Citra alleged let him astray, and the way Vas acts in this conversation is nothing like any other interaction in the entire game.
Recharging shields.
Frag out. Lovely weather we're having. I was so planning for it. That's why I love you, Vas. Right. What about Snow White? Fuck on him. I don't give a fuck. Really? Then why am I here? Once you come to rest somebody, his friends are gonna be so like that. I shot his older brother. I did what you wanted with his older brother. He's my sister. I don't give a fuck about your family. It is by my grace that your head isn't impaled on the antenna of my car. Therefore, I would like it if you get fucked up and okay? Alright.
The thing is here, Vas is calm and collected, complete opposite of every other encounter you have with him. Usually Vas seems to have a struggle with himself, making snap decisions, acting incredibly erratic.
I'm sorry. I don't like the way you are looking at me.
But here, he's docile, almost sounds intimidated by it. I think this is Vas's real character. Someone who puts on a show because he knows any sign of weakness, the island will kill him. And a person who can't be understood is easily the most. The most pivotal scene with Vas is when he captures you and gives you a speech about insanity. I know it's basically a meme at this point, but for good reason. It's an incredibly memorable speech. He talks about the insanity of repetition, doing the same thing over and over again, knowing it won't change the outcome.
Insanity is doing the exact same fucking thing over and over again, expecting shit to change. That is crazy. But the first time somebody told me that, I don't know, I thought they were bullshitting me, so boom, I shot him. The thing is, he was right. And then I started seeing it everywhere I looked. Everywhere I looked, all this fucking over and over and over and over and over again. This time, it's gonna be different.
It's an incredible feat, but in the Cook Islands, it makes total sense. You can't just keep killing pirates aimlessly. It won't progress the story. You can't just keep killing and skinning animals. At some point, you're going to make all the necessary upgrades, making the killing worthless. You can't expect to take every enemy outpost down the exact same way each time because of different enemy placement and rank. But Vas has fallen into the cycle of insanity. Without knowing it, he self-conscious, makes multiple attempts to kill you, only for it to blunder and you escape. Even after this dialogue, he pushes you into a flooded pit tied to a cement block. only for you to escape yet again. Vars is using the Earth's elements against you, but to no avail. After escaping, you're confronted by Vars, again, seemingly much calmer and more collected now, knowing there are no other eyes watching him. Instead of using an elaborate way to kill you, he does it the same way you've been upping. Try again.
Did I ever tell you the definition of insanity? No.
We're then presented with a quote from Alice in Wonderland. "Oh, you can't help that," said the cat. "We're all mad down here. I'm mad, you're mad." "How do you know I'm mad?" said Alice. "You must be," said the cat, "or you wouldn't have come here." There's a lot of these quotes spread across the game. Initially, I thought it was just, you know, superficial garbage. Ooh, let's have a quote from the Bible. Very deep, you guys. But reading into them, they do have a fair bit of meaning. Everyone on Rook Island is mad in some way or another. Some friendly, others not so much. The only people who have managed to stay completely sane are your friends, sheltering themselves in the caves, physically blocking themselves off from the outside world. They might go stir crazy, but that's a lot better than the jungle waiting for them up above. Even during the loading screens, you can see words forming like mom, hate, kill, friends, die. The most basic of words being used in random sequence, almost like we're trying to understand the island. Waking up from Vars's fourth attempt on your life, you have to crawl through a mound of bodies. A bit on the nose, but you know, you're given a second chance. This is for you, Ubisoft. A golden message, subtle storytelling, entirely made up stuff, and it goes to born, because the opening looks like a Njan capture.
Got dreams and stuff.
We've been through a lot. We've been through a lot today.
Yeah, today we got really far.
Has been secured.
He's come back from the dead!
Dennis is there to greet you, shocked that you survived the bullet, until you pull out the lighter that stopped it. The lighter that Vars put in your chest pocket. The final encounter with Vars is when you storm his compound, a small island at the top right corner of the map. You can tell it's the bad guy's base because there's strippers and they play copyrighted music. But plot twist, Vars knew you were coming all along and baited you into a trap.
Surprise, motherfucker! You didn't think I knew you were coming, right?
Wings out.
After killing the remaining pirates, you enter Vars's personal chamber, only for him to surprise you and stab you with a knife, seemingly killing you again. But, yet again, you survive, waking up inside a fever dream from you, Vars, seemingly wanting you to kill him. When the prompt actually came up, I declined to do it. Unfortunately, the game forces you to do it anyway, assumingly you will chase you to
Stop charging on my shields.
Pull the trigger! Let's go shoot me!
After fighting off dozens of apparitions of Vars, he seemingly invites you to kill him. To be honest, I really didn't want to. I just stood there looking at him, knowing that once I kill him, the game becomes infinitely more shit without him. Initiating the takedown, Vars doesn't even seem to fight you, only trying to defend himself. One thing I noticed, after planting the knife inside him, his facial expression changes. I mean, most people's faces would change after being stabbed with a knife, but Vars looks content, looking away as he almost accepts what comes next. Vars is dead. He doesn't have a quick time limit. He doesn't try to put up a fight. Well, I mean, you only killed him in a dream, right? You never see him again, so maybe he just escaped. Hopefully we'll see him. Nope, never mind. A dev confirmed his death on Twitter. Going back to his insanity speech, Vars mentions killing someone who told him the definition of insanity was crazy.
The first time somebody told me that, I don't know, I thought they were bullshitting me, so boom,
And you end up killing Vars, the guy who told you the definition of insanity. By killing Vars, you haven't broken the cycle, you've joined it. And that's why, personally, I think Vars isn't the bad guy here, it's Citra.
Citra, I won.
Citra Telugmai is a character I've purposely skimmed over up until now. She's a girl gamer that's native to the Rook Islands. Citra, like I said earlier, is the sister of Vars, both of which share a similar tooth necklace. Like I mentioned before as well, she leads the Rakia, and only takes interest in you because she can see the warrior Jason can become.
Bring me what has been lost.
She's the reason you encounter Buck. If it wasn't for her wanting the knife, you never would have met him. Part of me believes Citra never cared for the knife, but knew you'd die trying to get it, or come back as a completely different person. But this knife is etched into Jason's mind. He has visions of it, even sees Vars attacking him with it, only for him to then use it on Vars. Both of which are impossible because you gave the knife to Citra for safekeeping. She begins filling Jason's head with stories of warriors overcoming the impossible, tricking Jason into thinking he can be that warrior, the ability to conquer anyone and anything.
Blessed with the blood of our ancestors. It has been conquered.
So it's, you know, women are in a nature setting, like, to be conquered.
Baba Booey. And like every boomer in a UK club, you down hallucinogenic potions, not knowing what they'll do to you, only to please her.
Give me it, it's mine!
In these visions, you can see characters in the game being replaced by you. Jason is becoming the warrior Citra wants, stripped of any morality. Before you face Vars, you can see yourself replacing him and Citra. You three are one and the same. You all have the capacity for great violence. Ironically, Jason is designed to purposely oppose Vars, with a much softer face and defined by his blue shirt, while Vars wears red. Complete opposites on the color spectrum. In the 2012 E3 demo, just before you shoot Vars, you can see his model being replaced by Jason.
You are me. Gonna be a good match. I can feel it in me sky.
By following Citra's path, you're becoming another Vars. Before your final encounter with him, Citra forces you into a trick where you fight a colossal demon. She's conditioning you that Vars is someone who isn't human, an impossible creature that can't be reasoned. Rewarding you with sex after your victory, giving into your primal gamer desires. Vars even warns you about Citra before you kill him, knowing what Citra is turning you into.
But now, balls away.
She's gonna make a warrior out of you. We're so fucked, Jason.
Citra picked up on Jason's insecurities and that feeling of never belonging back home, and manipulated him to feel like he has a purpose. Even to the point he doesn't want to return home when the boat's been repaired. He'd rather leave his friends to pursue the destiny Citra's etched into his mind.
Because the boat's almost fixed, we get to go home.
I'm not going.
What?
Contagion നല്ല damage ഉണ്ട് കേട്ടോ.
Wings up.
Contagion എന്ന് പറഞ്ഞ സാധനം നല്ല damage ഉണ്ട്.
On this island.
Yep.
Let's go.
Clusters of enemies are full.
You can talk to some of your friends one-to-one after breaking the news. The only person who wants to stay is Ollie, but you convinced him.
Go.
Stop stressing right
It's all
now
right,
because
Bob.
Ollie is staying.
അവർ ചെയ്തു എന്നാ പറഞ്ഞു. Apparently news കണ്ടായിരുന്നു. Apparently it was contain ചെയ്തു എന്ന് ഞാൻ
No why? Tell my mom.
എനിക്ക് അതിനുശേഷം ഫോളോ അപ്പ് ഒന്നും കിട്ടിയില്ല.
And Keith, you can have some small talk about life back home in America.
Good luck back on Wall Street.
It's all about the hustle.
Liza and Daisy won't even speak to you, heartbroken by the news. This is Citra's first
രണ്ട് പ്രാവശ്യം stack ആവും. So രണ്ട് പേർക്ക് ഇട്ട് കൊടുത്താൽ മതി.
Not killing Buck,
അങ്ങോട്ടും ഇങ്ങോട്ടും spread ആയി അവര്
pirate on the island, but by betraying your friends, those closest to you.
What?
If you can do that, Citra can do anything she wants with you. Citra begins telling you that Vars'
ഒന്നും ചെയ്യണ്ട ചുമ്മാ രണ്ടുപേർക്ക് contagion ഇട്ട് കൊടുത്താൽ
and the root
ചത്ത്.
cause is Hoyt Volker, Vars' employer.
Hoyt Volker lured him away with money. Drugs.
പക്ഷെ അത് lethal takedown ആണ്. But
He became a monster.
Now, your main training is killing boys. Your friends won't get in the way of your progression. I actually started seeing the tattoos on my arm as kind of a bad thing now. They did help me, but I feel like it's slowly killing me. stripping away his morality in exchange for his mindless effort. A good comparison to the tattoos is the butt and Hellblade. They both represent entirely different things, but in a really distinct way. In Hellblade, the gut and his arm physically killing him, but in Far Cry, Jason's tattoos figuratively killing him, shaping him into someone else. A good example of someone Citra has fully converted is Dennis. You can talk to him later when he's drunk off a single beer. Seriously, do any video game developers drink? Dennis mainly talks about how he's traveled the world and he's never managed to fit in anywhere.
I worked as a mechanic in a garage. Try to make fun of my accent.
You're better off dead, but I could use the
Try to pay me less than the other mechanics.
I find it ironic he thinks he's free despite having less control than ever before. Citra has taken everything away from him, but he's been conditioned to believe that he now has true freedom. I mean, he does in a sense. He can go wherever he wants to and do what he wants, but only by sacrificing his entire life to Citra. It's sad to say, guys, but Dennis is a cock.
Thanks.
Let's go.
After Vasa's death, you make contact with Willis.
പുത്തൻ പുതിയ ചുവന്ന മൈമൈ എഡിറ്റ് ചെയ്യാൻ പറ്റിയെങ്കിൽ കൊള്ളായിരുന്നു. അതിന് മോഡുണ്ട്, കസ്റ്റമൈസേഷൻ മോഡൊക്കെ ഉണ്ട്. വെഹിക്കിൾ കസ്റ്റമൈസേഷൻ ഒന്നുമില്ല. I know, right?
Lost potential.
Embedded with Hoyt's troops. If you whistle the star
Modern
in Thurston at the Crazy Cock Bar, he'll know I sent you.
Leaving the North Island, we get another Alice in Wonderland quote. This time, it's Alice saying that she isn't herself. Jason isn't himself anymore. He's becoming a pawn for the Rakiat. Willis gives Jason a wing glider to safely land on the South Island. This thing is a upgrade. It really helps moving around both the islands. You can be 0.01 meters above the ground and still have the prompt to deploy it, although it doesn't help you getting into areas you shouldn't. Ubisoft have an immersive and realistic way to avoid you skipping huge parts of the game. Your biggest enemy up here is probably the birds, who can glitch you out of your wingsuit, instantly killing you. So anyway, how is the second island? It's not very good. This is where the game really loses its steam, and pretty much everything here is a downgrade. Now, there is a pretty popular theory I found on the depths of Reddit. The theory is that Vas killed Jason, and the rest of the game is a fever dream in Jason's dying mind. I personally don't think this is true, but I wish it was, because the South Island is easily the worst aspect of the entire game. Pirates are replaced by privateers, generic Call of Duty men who have next to no personality. They're meant to be more intimidating, having better equipment than the pirates and having actual military experience, but they all act the exact same in gameplay. The only new enemy type is the Flamer. Same health as the Heavy Gunner, but with a flamethrower instead. They actually really help spice up the gameplay. Once they spot you, it's incredibly hard to see them because they'll be constantly spitting fire at you. Even spotting them with the camera doesn't mark them properly when they're firing at you. And worst of all, the most broken gun in the game, the flare gun, does no damage whatsoever. Flamers really help create chaotic situations. Privateers aren't fireproof, and flamers will usually kill their own guys just to hurt Jason. I like this enemy. Gold star for me. At one point, it's even mentioned that the remnants of Vasa's forces are trying to disrupt the privateers' business.
The pirates attack Hoyt's drug fields. They have rigged bombs. He disarms them.
Now this would have been really cool, right? Seeing the privateers and the pirates going against each other, creating this triangle of conflict. Kind of like how when the Flood were introduced in Halo, another faction to create more dynamic situations. But apart from these videos I found on YouTube where the two groups of the servers, I could never see the pirates and privateers fighting each other. It's such a waste of the opportunity. The second island itself is a lot more open. I really promote the use of the wingsuit more, but this comes across as very barren and open. Nowhere near the foliage and vegetation as the first island. It loses the claustrophobic feel the North Island has. Pirates and animals have hide in the bushes and wait. But here, everything's exposed. I'm sure there's something deep and profound here about how the island is changing as Jason does. But I spent all my deep philosophical energy on the first island. I'm all burnt. Pretty much all the side content from the North Island is here too. Take a look at the jobs. You've got the radio towers, the supply drop missions, killing normal people, killing special people with a knife, hunting animals. Some of these are actually fun though, to be fair. One trial of the Rakiat mission copied Black Ops gun game mechanic, where each kill grants you one random weapon. It totally changes the gameplay as you're ready to shoot an enemy, only to realise you're given a totally useless weapon. Another puts you in a swamp with wooden bridges and spawns hordes of Molotov pirates at you, pushing you to different areas as the environment burns up around you. Sometimes backing up to get some breathing room is completely impossible because of the fires surrounding. And there's another one as well where you have to fight an army of helicopters with a mounted turret. Like, it's pretty fun. But what about of the hunt? Now, the devs realised you killed all the rare animals on the first island to upgrade your gear. So what do the rare animals offer now? Just money. Yeah, remember how you couldn't sell rare pelts originally because of how treasure they were? Nah bro, just spawn these off, who cares? The problem is at this point, your arsenal is way too upgraded for any animal to be a threat. One hunt wants you to kill bears with the starting pistol, but my Jason was way too leveled up for them to be any kind of threat to him, failing to capture how dangerous the hunts were in the early game. The only real incentive to do side content is to get cash money, which you can now use to buy new guns the vendor has stocked as soon as you reach the second island. They could have added these guns as rewards for completing side missions instead of dumping them all into a menu when you reach a specific point in the game, but, you know, Ubisoft. But don't worry guys, there are more random side quests where you talk to strangers to help them out with their problems.
The guys in there, take all my money. I want to make them pay.
Yay. The only problem with these missions is that Jason acts exactly the same as when he accepted his very first side quest. But the thing is, Jason has changed now. He's rugged and more battle-hardened. I find it really difficult to believe he'd just accept a quest from Miguel to find his wife's son's ashes. And also, like the first island, all of these side missions have an M. Night Shyamalan twist at the end. For example, a man tells you people have been going missing in a cave. You investigate, find nothing of value, and then when you go to leave, the dev spawns in an alligator to attack you. Wow, what a twist. Ingenious writing. In another quest, a woman wants to leave the island and asks you to get blood diamonds so she can pay a ship captain off to escape. You kill some baddies, get the diamonds, but oh, what a twist. It was a ploy all along, so a pimp could keep the diamonds for herself.
What brings up?
I thought you were leaving the island.
Knew you were fucking up.
Well, no!
And you have to kill him while the woman watches in horror. This ending was so physically retarded, I loaded a previous save thinking there could have been like a different outcome. I came to the confrontation again, watched the man treat his woman with respect for about 5 minutes, and then left the house only to realise the game soft-locked me out of accessing any new content until I completed the mission. Completing side content does unlock upgraded versions of already existing weapons, but it would have been nice to have something diegetically in the game, like, I don't know, maybe a call from Dennis.
Jason, you have freed the island. We are proud of you. Here is a 25% coupon code for Africa, coming November 2020.
I think the only saving grace here is, again, the outpost. Nothing really has changed here, they're just as good as the first island. But anyway, it's not the side content we want, it's the story. We want more Jason Descent. More Jason Descent. You talk to a barman asking about Willis's agent, Sam. Clearly the budget cut of the second island hit this guy pretty hard.
I'm looking for a friend. Privateer named Silverdrag-N.
Also, how do none of the privateers know what Jason looks like? They'll attack you on sight, but if you go into the neutral zone, you can walk around and interact with them, and they seem to have no idea who you are. Keep in mind, you're the only plainclothes non-native on the island, so I find it really hard to believe that no one, except people on patrol, know who you are.
Leave! Right now!
Give me it!
Look, I'm gonna cut you a break. Hey! Idiot.
Anyway, you get into a poker game and you finally meet Sam. You can instantly tell who he is because his polygon count is double anyone else at the table.
Just hand the boys. I'm cashing out. Already? You'd like me to continue playing, Carl?
You go to meet Sam outside, and I guess after the cutscene they didn't expect anyone to turn around, because if you do, they've all despawned.
Ring closing in 10.
How is he? I've been concerned about him. Nothing.
Sam is a great supporting character, and without him, I'm convinced the second half of the game would just completely fall apart. There's no Dennis or Citra here. He's pretty much the only friendly face you have for the rest of the game. He shares a lot of similarities to Dr. Earnhardt, having good intentions but being slightly unhinged. Living on his own for so long in deep cover, he's adopted the privateer's attitude, being a borderline psychopath.
Ready. Nobody panic, but we got bandits out there.
The islands affected him like everyone else, but him being undercover has given him the ability to justify his actions. So he still has some knowledge.
Ready to scorch the world.
Criminal.
Is good.
Too much. It is so easy to fool them.
Should air pressure drop, oxygen masks will be provided. If you're traveling with a small child, this is a blood sport. What's wrong with you?
Because of an accident.
Apparently, Hoyt is so incompetent that not a single person on the island knows what he looks like. Only the markings of the tattoo on your arm. So Sam has an idea to get you in disguise by taking a recruit's uniform.
Enlist. You must enlist with some privateers. Adults, no arguments. This is a two-man operation.
This mission really sucks. It's the only mission in the game that has an instant fail if you're spotted, apart from the opening mission. But in that mission, you are basically handheld on what to do with your brother Grant and pop-ups on the screen. Here, you're not told what to do, but it's still as linear as the first mission, meaning you have to throw rocks at incredibly specific points to distract guards. Also, enemies seem to completely ignore the meter fill-up when they dissect you, and they just spot you instantly.
You failed.
And the approach this any way you want mentality is completely gone when you can't even take different paths to get to your objective.
Can't jump in the cenote too.
Thanks for the warning, bro. After throwing rocks to distract guards for about 15 minutes, you finally get yourself a recruit uniform. The main reason you got this disguise was to cover up your tattoos. Having the uniform makes patrolling privateers neutral to Jason, meaning they won't attack unless provoked, although the definition of neutral can be argued. Outposts and certain missions will be marked in red zones that you don't have access to, so you'll still have to sneak around, much like normal gameplay.
Oh no, 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 no!
So, apart from the couple trucks you'll see with privateers, this uniform makes no difference to gameplay. It annoys me because this could have really gone somewhere. You take a grunt's uniform, like, what if you could upgrade yourself by stealing clothes from higher ranks? They could even treat you differently depending on your rank. In Far Cry 2, you have a reputation level, and at base rank, mercs in neutral zones will treat you like complete trash.
Oi, watch it.
But on higher levels, they respect and fear you, knowing of your past work.
Sorry, man. Probably my fault. I'm just minding my own business, brother.
It'd be nice to see something like that here, but instead you just treated like a nobody to everyone. Again, a great concept, but not fleshed out at all. Like, imagine if there was a mission where you had to eliminate the Rakiat just to maintain your cover. This would have worked amazingly with Jason's psyche. He still continues to sacrifice everything just to get to his end goal. I know it's a stretch for Far Cry to have a morality meter, but if the player is given a Hitman tier disguise in the last third of the game, nothing seems too abstract. Shortly after getting our outfit, we're introduced to Hoyt, the leader of the trade empire encompassing the Rock Islands.
Ah, my rosy-cheeked new employees. I'm not going to lie. We're all here to make a buck. But it's the happiness of my people that gets me out this part.
Hoyt's introduction is great. Nowhere near Vars's, of course. He's too far away from Jason for his words to come across as any kind of threat. Instead of a one-to-one speech, he's talking to an entire group of mercs, not even making any eye contact with them. It feels a lot less personal, but it still hits all the notes of a good character intro. Unlike Vars, Hoyt seems to just be born evil, with no turning point in his life that changed him.
My father is a diamond miner. Got up at the crack of dawn each morning, smoked a cigarette, down into the earth he went.
Keep in mind, this is the man who corrupted Vars. He really doesn't need to say much to convey his message. You and Sam spend the next mission trying to get into Hoyt's graces by killing pirates and defusing bombs they planted. It really sucks that this is the last time, canonically, Jason will ever fight the pirates. It's a great swan song mission where they throw the rest of their forces at you.
I hate it here. What the fuck is that smell? Someone just fucking shoot.
Hey, now shut the fuck up!
Wunderbar. I will tell Hoyt that you work with me. It should grease the wheels, yeah?
Another mission to suck up to Hoyt further asks you to get a dossier with the names of privateers who are running their own business on the side and not giving their profits to Hoyt. After getting the book, you have to escape. But if you don't, the game just spawns infinitely on a wooden shack until you die. It reminds me of this one mission in Saints Row 2 where this limousine pulls up and just has infinitely spawning mimes from it. After you've built up enough rep to meet Hoyt face to face, it loses a lot of tension because you've already indirectly been introduced to him before. But Hoyt managed to recapture my attention by talking about how fragile life is.
Join me for a celebratory cohiba. That was quite a showdown there.
I don't really smoke.
Oh, you're concerned about cancer. That's good. Cancer won't be what kills you. Do you know the real secret to keeping employees happy?
New kill leader. Not for long, pal.
Fear.
The best way to see Hoyt, in my opinion, he's kind of like an insane store manager.
I don't allow vandalism in my store!
Except he isn't insane, he's perfectly sane. He's someone who views life as fleeting and wants to capitalize on it while he still has it. He believes that no action is truly evil if by the end of it they make a statue out of you or you die on a bed full of money. He's someone who's removed all morality from the equation because it's deemed to him as a weakness. As much as I didn't like Hoyt as a villain when playing the game, I've come to respect him because even though he's one of the few sane people on the island, he's one of the most human. And he only really has any modicum of respect for Jason when he mentions that he's a hunter.
Hobbies. Cooking, painting, movies, crystal meth. What are yours?
I like to hunt.
I'm a hunter myself. The noblest of professions. I can offer you travel to slave markets in Rio, Hong Kong, New York. This is a global enterprise.
He also compares contact lenses to human trafficking. A stupid comparison initially, up until he compares it from a business perspective.
Look at American industry. They put a 1, 2, 3 on a contact lens, so when I'm going to place it in my eye, I can tell whether it's inside out. Now, why 1, 2, 3 and not ABC? That way they can export it around the globe and straight to me.
He basically is the insanity speech that Vass was talking about. The repetition is his business. Smuggling people, drugs, extortion, murder. It's a cycle that repeats itself over and over until someone intervenes. Hoyt will never stop because he can't stop. He doesn't know any other way of living. When you meet other antagonists, it's somewhere completely out of your comfort zone. A place that makes you feel on edge. A rundown shack, a cage. But with Hoyt, it's a well-lit, clean office. And that shows how different he is to everyone that came before him. And then Hoyt completely ruins that character's subtlety by playing classical music while he blows up a boat outside. You can see this used in the promotional trailer for Hoyt as well, and they forgot to crop out Jason, so it's just a recruit uniform sitting in a chair with no head. He also mentions he has a prisoner that he wants you to torture, whether or
നേരത്തെ അറിയാതെ ഇന്നലെ ആണെങ്കിൽ എല്ലാം രാത്രി ആവാന്ന് വിചാരിച്ച് രാത്രി ഓൺ ചെയ്ത് വെച്ചിട്ട് ഞാൻ കുറച്ച് കഴിഞ്ഞ് കമ്പ്യൂട്ടർ ഓഫ് ചെയ്ത് വെച്ചിട്ട് കിടന്ന് ഉറങ്ങി ഓർക്കാതെ എന്താ ചെയ്യുന്നു ബ്രോ?
ഞാൻ ഡെയിലി ചെയ്യുന്നു. എനിക്ക് പെട്ടെന്ന് തീർത്തിട്ട് വേണം വൈകുന്നേരം കുളിച്ചിട്ട് സൈബർ പങ്ക് ബാക്കി കളിക്കാൻ. അതെനിക്ക് സാറ്റർഡേ ഇല്ലേ? സാറ്റർഡേ ഇല്ലേ ജോലി?
ഇല്ല.
മൺഡേ ടു ഫ്രൈഡേ ബിസിനസ്.
അതെ.
Let's go over there. Enemy spotted. Way out there, like little cucarachas.
I got some materials for us. Yay! Round 2. Let the ring countdown begin.
We're not all in the ring. Quit stuffing your jocks and move.
Materials here. They're dropping a replicator.
Yo, crafting over here. Boy, extra supplies here. Backpack here. Level 1. Don't worry, it won't slow you down.
I'm crafting.
Or not you get any information out of it. But plot twist, it's your younger brother, Riley.
Jason!
All in all, this is a really good scene. Riley seems genuinely happy to see you, but you can't let him express that because Hoyt's watching on the cameras.
All right. I'll keep my eye on the camera feed. I so rarely get to watch another professional.
Riley is the polar opposite of Grant. While he was older and an army vet, Riley is young and inexperienced. One thing to note is that he wears blue, much like Jason does, while people like Grant and Voss wear red. Blue is usually associated with calmness and passivity, while red can represent blood and violence. But hey, that's just a game theory.
A game theory.
You could escape with Riley now and leave the island, but Ubisoft still has about 3 more hours of content to hit their boardroom deadline. So for now, Riley stays.
Live your own lives.
I am taking fire, friends.
Remember, smile. On camera.
On a serious note, this puts a huge twist on things because up until now, you thought that all surviving friends got off the island. Riley being here and alive is a foundation reminding Jason of his life back home in America, breaking him away from the path that Citra wants him to follow. And this is the first time since his friends escaped that he's shown any kind of emotion.
I think we should move that way.
Who have I become?
Hoyt, so pleased with your interrogation, invites you to his poker game, but not before you spend a couple missions blowing up his stuff. I mean, you can't expect one great mission to be followed by another one, can you? This is Ubisoft. We need some filler content. After blowing up some fuel tanks and destroying a radio dish so badly it clips into the earth, we finally have that poker game with Hoyt. Before the game, you're given a pop-up saying there's no turning back. This is some pretty heavy stuff. We're in the end game now, boys. Hoyt seems a lot more agitated, acting very passive aggressive.
What a job.
Sam looks ready to signal you to attack Hoyt. Hoyt apparently knew you as Jason all along. It's not apparent how long he knew. Maybe it was the TV downstairs where you were talking to Riley that had literal footage of you and your friends being captured on it. That's not a meme, by the way. There's just a privateer watching it directly in front of you. Like, it feels like a huge joke you're not in on. Or maybe it was the fact you kept going around killing every single privateer and then someone eventually snitched. It's a pretty piss-poor explanation. But again, the game is trying to connect gameplay with story and it usually never ends up working well.
Foster, Jason Brody, whatever your name is, it slipped my mind. How stupid do you think I am? We should keep playing. Dealer's on the left, right?
Turn it off.
Also, Sam really is dead, despite being able to survive grenades. Hoyt got a crit with the knife. Replacing a vet has now been replaced with vet life, because Ubisoft know nothing about subtlety. No matter what hand you play, you're scripted to lose. Hoyt cuts off your finger, and Jason, assumingly from all the adrenaline, spaces out to face off against Hoyt in a similar arena to Voss and Buck. This fight is okay. It doesn't try to one-up the final fight Voss had because the game knows it can't. So this feels a lot closer to Buck's encounter, having a knife with a quick time event. One nice touch is after you actually kill Hoyt, you have an optional choice to plant another knife in him.
Let's go for a ride.
Failing this QTE just means he falls to the ground anyway. Waking up, Jason realized to play Far Cry 3 on PC, he had to install Uplay, and in his blind rage, killed everyone in the room. My exact reaction when I forget my Uplay login. You've now got to race to the landing strip where Riley's been transported to. When you arrive, you have to search the nearby buildings. You can tell which one it is because it has a glowing red door.
രാവിലെ ഡൗൺലോഡ് ചെയ്തിട്ടില്ലേ എന്തായി ഓടാ മയിലേ അതുകൊണ്ട് ഓഫ് ചെയ്ത് വെക്കല്ലേ
I hate it because it's stupid. Jason has just saved his brother from appearing in a Taken sequel. They're escaping. His brother's dead. His friends could be anywhere. All of these themes are completely ignored for funny loud music. They overlap with each other.
ഞാൻ ഫാൻസിനെ പറ്റി കുറച്ചുകൂടെ കളിക്കാൻ നോക്കുന്നു കളിച്ചു കഴിഞ്ഞിട്ട് വീട്ടിൽ പോകണം വീട്ടിൽ പോയാൽ കളിക്കാൻ പറ്റൂല ഞാൻ ഇന്ന് കാർത്തിക പാർക്കിൽ നിന്ന് ഊണ് ഓർഡർ ചെയ്ത് ക്വാണ്ടിറ്റി കുറവാണ് 300 രൂപയാണ് ഒരു ഊണിന് 275 രൂപ കോമഡി എന്താണെന്ന് അറിയാമോ അത് കിട്ടി അതിന്റെ അകത്ത് മറ്റേ തോരനും അവിയലും അങ്ങനത്തെ സാധനം ചോറിന്റെ കൂടെ വെച്ച് പൊതിഞ്ഞ് വെച്ചിട്ടുണ്ട് ഒഴിച്ചു കൂട്ടാനുള്ളതെല്ലാം കവറിന്റെ അകത്ത് മറ്റേ സീൽ ചെയ്ത് തന്നിട്ടുണ്ട് ആ സീൽ ചെയ്ത് തന്ന കവറിൽ ഓരോന്നിലും എന്നാണ് ഈ കറി ഉണ്ടാക്കിയത് എത്ര മണിക്ക് ചീത്താവും എഴുതി വെച്ചിട്ടുണ്ട് ആണോ ഞാൻ കാർത്തിക പടക്ക് ജാട കൂടുതലായതുകൊണ്ട് ചെയ്തതാണ്
You were painfully underused and underdeveloped like most things in this game. By the way, the actual actor for Earnhardt, Martin Cavan, died less than a year later of cancer at 66. I'm not aware of any other work he did outside this game, but he did a phenomenal performance of Earnhardt. So rest in peace, Martin. Thank you for keeping me entertained in my young years. Going upstairs, we find Daisy's room turned upside down. That money that was teased at the start of the game. It only took 20 hours to get home. Afterwards, you head to Citrus Temple and confront her about your future. She knocks you unconscious and talks about how far you've come.
I'm helping you. Big, strong, powerful. Why would you go back to what you did?
She's proud of the progress you've made, but she's worried that you'll lose everything. Talking about how the path you've taken
ഒരു ഹോമിംഗ് ഗ്രനേഡ് ഉണ്ട് ഗെയിം മോഡിൽ ഞാൻ അവൻ്റെ അടുത്ത് എറിഞ്ഞിട്ട് ഐ ഗസ് അത്ര ഒരു 30-40 സെക്കൻഡ്സ് ആയി ഇവനിങ്ങനെ ഓരോ സ്ഥലത്ത് ഓടി 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 അവസാനം ഇവൻ ഷീൽഡ് ചെയ്യാൻ വേണ്ടി തിരിച്ചു വന്നപ്പോൾ മരിച്ചു വിചിത്രം കാരണം
Citra wants you to free yourself from the past. Being separated from your friends isn't enough. You're still tied to them. In her eyes, you have to kill them to truly break the chain and become a warrior, unbound of any past. Basically, knowing that once you kill your friends, you have no possible redemption and you're completely under her control. She drugs you, warping your perception of reality, and you start being attacked by your girlfriend Liza. Firstly, you lose the knife that you spent so long to get. Then your tattoos, all the hours you spent killing and collecting to unlock them all, wiped away in an instant.
Okay,
when you eventually sober up, you have your knife up against Liza. What Citra wanted you to see wasn't a vision, more a premonition. If you go back home to America, you lose everything.
സോ എനിവേസ് ഞാൻ സ്ട്രീം ഇവിടെ വെച്ച് നിർത്തുകയാണ് കാരണം ഞാൻ പറഞ്ഞില്ല സൈബർ പങ്ക് കുറച്ച് കളിക്കണം എന്നൊക്കെ ഉണ്ട് എനിവേസ് അതുകൊണ്ട് ഞാൻ മാക്സിമം ഒന്ന് ഇതെല്ലാം സെറ്റ് ചെയ്തിട്ടെല്ലാം ചെയ്തിട്ട് പോവാന്ന് വിചാരിക്കണു സോ അതുവരെ പതിവ് പോലെ ഗുഡ് ബൈ ജി ജീസ് ആൻഡ് ടു ബി കണ്ടിന്യൂഡ് ബൈ ബൈ